Hello everyone, I'm just waiting for others to join so I can start taking the questions. Okay, so there are a few questions from the stories that I'll be taking first. So one of you have asked me that how you started him to write journal or what encouraged him to write. Please share his schedule also. So this is for hi, hello. Hello Priya, hello. So I'll just quickly dive it for the questions because I don't think I have too much time here. So I will be saving this live so you can watch it later also, yes. And journaling has been, I am getting a lot of questions on journaling, that how did Taha start journaling and everything. So the journal book that we have, I got it as a part of a collaboration from a brand, like I think 2 years back. It's I think from Journal Lab, I'm not sure of the name. I'll check. I've tagged that brand a few days back. So that book was given gifted to us, and when Taha was around 5.5, I used to ask him every day, what all you want me to write. Like, there are three questions mainly in that journal. That first one is, what are you grateful for today, how was your day, and secondly, what would you change in today's day. So every day he writes all these three answers. Nowadays I just read after he sleeps. Some days, like, I've not had a look at it from last 2-3 days, but it's okay. So what he writes in grateful is generally something that he really enjoyed to the day. So something, it's usually like, today I enjoyed dosa, or today my friend gave me a chocolate. So all these are like his achievements kinds of a thing, so he writes about that, when what he felt grateful. Secondly, he writes what he did in the day, so something that he had looked forward to, like in school something happened, or something with Zen that he played and enjoyed, he writes that. And in the third section he writes something that he wants to change. So usually it is that, I wish mama didn't shout at me, I wish papu didn't scold me, I wish Zen didn't hit me. All these are his normal replies to that. So how I started was that I write my own diary every day before I sleep, like with the task in hand and everything. Like, I also mark my, I'm not sure that it will be see. I also mark all this, that how if I went to the gym, if I read, or if I read for 15 minutes. So I write all this in my own diary. And Taha sees my diary a lot of times. I don't write anything personal yet in this, so he just sees that Mama is keeping this. So he has, I think, from that he started writing his own diary, and he also keeps. He keeps a schedule, like I have my exam on this day, I have my review on this day, on Friday I have to do a public speaking class. So he keeps his own schedule also in his diary. So I think all these are very basic skills that all kids should know at this age. And when they learn all these skills at this age, they'll be able to do it better as they grow up. He's able to articulate his feelings better, and all these things are happening with him. I can see that. So, slowly, when he even looks back, he will remember that what all he has. Some, somebody's asking me, do they do any. So somebody's asked me that, do they do any sports? Zen right now doesn't go to any class, but in school they have 2 days for sports, so he does it over there. And at home he's always jumping around. And for Taha, he has been going to a gymnastics class for last 2.5 years, and he's pretty good at it now. I don't share a lot about it because it's a physical class, and I don't want to share too much information about it. Yeah, Taha does have skating also in school, and he does swimming and skating and this gymnastic class. Mm, Okay, I can see a lot of questions over here. Let me take the second one. Okay, somebody's asked me that how to talk to your kids about death. So this is something that I have also been thinking about, because this is something that when you experience, like if it happens in the family or something like that, then it is easier to discuss all these things with your kids. So what how you can do is, like, don't negate their feelings and don't keep them away from this. Like if it has happened and if they are asking questions about it, obviously they are curious, so they want to know more. So what you can do in such cases is that you talk to them. Like how you will tell them is that, beta, when we grow old and our body stops working slowly, so that is how we die. But instead of telling them that we lost someone, so kids that get, sometimes they get really scared that what will happen, like I'll lose my parents also. So we have to think from their perspective of fear also, and we have to give them a solution over here that when our bodies grow old, when our body is not able to keep up, then our heart stops working, our brain stops working. I'll tell you an incident that happened with me and Zen. Yesterday I was driving, and I usually tell him that, Zen, you're my heartbeat. So he asked me that, what will happen if your heartbeat is not there? Then I was like, my heart will stop working. So he was like, then we both will die. So I was a little surprised that he knows that word. First of all, he's only 4.5. I was not sure that he knows. So I told him ki, yeah, when my heart will stop working, when I'll grow old, it will stop working and then I will die. So then he thought for a second, and then he was like, okay. And then he said, then why you call me your heartbeat? Because I was like, because my heart is beating for you, dhak 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 dhak, and I really feel that you are my heartbeat. It feels the same ways, like when I'm with you, my heart just races a lot. So then he started smiling, and then he told me कि आपके लिए I am your heartbeat, but पापू के लिए I am not his heartbeat, I am his jaan. So I was like, okay, he understands different meanings. So just have such conversations in layers with your kids. Like I'm planning to read more about this death one, and I will be having more conversations with him, and it is usually done in layers for him. For everything that I try to talk to him about, I usually try to do it in layers, so it is not a buttload of information for him in one go, but slowly he's able to understand his feelings. Because kids, when we give them a lot of information, it just blurs out and they just hear something and then they create their own alternate reality in this. Jasmeet is asking me, hi Rahila, please share your routine. I am just unable to get some me time. All day I'm busy with household chores, part-time job and kid. So I'll share my routine that I wake up around 6:15. Then I wake up Taha. Then Taha goes to school. I make his breakfast and everything around 7ish. I make his around 6:30. I make his breakfast. He leaves at 7, and after that, we send Zen to school around 8. He leaves for school. Then I go to my gym. I come back at around 9:30. Then it's breakfast time and lunchtime. So what has always been the rule in our house is that we prepare dinner also at the same time. So around 11:15 we get free from the kitchen. Then I have time because my kids come back from school around 2:33. So I have time with me. So in that time I take my sessions. I'm doing this live like today. I do my content writing work, all my calls, everything is in those 2-3 hours. Then when my kids are back, we have lunch. Me and Zen, we have lunch together. Then Taha comes back and I spend a little time with both of them, like half an hour, 45 minutes. We play in their room or we do some activities or homework. Then it's usually around 6 o'clock. Taha goes for an offline class and I and Zen go out cycling, and they both sleep around, they have dinner after that around 7:30, and they sleep around 8:15, and then I get my a little me time. Then I read, and also in pockets of the day, like in the morning when kids are not at home, I try to take out time to read and do all these things. And especially when they both have grown up a little bit, I get more time. Like in the afternoon also, if sometimes I'm not feeling like playing, I just tell them that can you guys play on your own, and they do. and at that time I get my me time. Like I think like today has been a hectic day for me. In the morning I take a break. Like if I am not able to give them 100% when I'm playing with them, like I feel that I'm very irritated or I'm very tired, then I ask them that can I take a break? I'm not feeling well like playing today. Can I just sleep for half an hour, or I'll just read my book and come back for some time? So they are usually okay to play on their own. So they play in their room and I relax in my room in that time. How to deal with a 3-year-old who constantly gets angry and hits and pinches a lot. So basically this is a very very common behavior for a 3-year-old, Marfa, that is happening with you. That they usually, kids at this age, they don't have any filter. So they want to release that energy that they have, so they will get angry when things are not going their way. They think that everything should go their way, but when it is not possible they get angry. So in those situations you need to be more empathetic towards your child. You need to understand your child better. Like if you are not giving something to your child and your child is getting angry for that situation, you need to empathize with your child. You need to tell him, I understand bacha that you need that thing and I'm not able to give you. That is really discomforting you. I can see that is making you angry. When we name their feelings and when we help them, then they feel calm easily. It's easier to bring them back because we're connecting with them by empathizing with them. And when your child is hitting, so you are an adult, right? You can just move back. When your child comes to hit you, you just move back. And if they're hitting others, you also tell them that we cannot hit. Hitting is one thing that you need to stop this behavior. How you will do it is by not hitting your child. First of all, if you are also hitting, then it is negating, it is double standards, right? That you're telling your child not to hit and then you are hitting them. So this is a hypocritical behavior is what I feel. So instead of hitting your child, you tell them that it is not okay to hit. You take a step back. You teach them calming techniques like breathing, like 5-star breathing, which is a very common one for kids. You teach them all these techniques, so when they are angry you can connect, empathize and help them by redirecting these techniques. Sorry. Are there any books, good books for parenting? There are lots of books on parenting. I really like. I'm really reading the book called All Drama No Discipline. It's an amazing book. I'm really liking it. I have not read a lot of parenting books, to be very honest. I have always been a very visual learner, so I take a lot of workshops. I try to learn from others, like so whenever there is a paid workshop happening, I just enroll and just I want to hear others views about parenting. That really helps me understand things in a better context than reading books about parenting, because I really like to read fictional books more than non-fictional books. Okay, there is one more question. I always hit out of frustration but guilty for this. Can't control myself. Please help. See, when you are hitting your child, you are sending a signal that your child is weak. Means you are more powerful than your child. Your child is powerless, basically. So you need to understand that how would you feel that every time. I'm not sure if you've seen that movie Darlings, where the husband comes and hits her wife and every morning he says sorry. So that wife feels he's a good person but he's still hitting me. So I feel it is the same. Like when we are hitting kids we name it discipline, but when we are hitting adults we call it abuse. How is that different? Like I feel that is also abuse for the child when you are hitting them. And even if you are feeling guilty and you are saying sorry, it doesn't negate that. Your child will remember that feeling. See, hitting is something very very strong. Very very strong feeling that your child will keep with him for a very very long time. So whenever you are about to hit or something like this is about to happen, you try to take a step back. Like sometimes our kids are not safe from us. When you are hitting, when you're shouting, our kids are not safe from us. So we need to retract ourselves from that situation. If you're hitting for everything, suppose hitting and shouting is happening for everything, Like suppose 5 times in a day it is happening. So even if you're able to retract yourself one time out of it, then it will happen that you keep on practicing this. You keep on telling yourself that I was able to do that, I will try to do it again, I will try to do it again. And when you are doing it again and again, when you keep on practicing something, we practice, we become good at. If you keep on practicing hitting, you will become good at it. If you keep on practicing shouting, you will become good at it. But if you keep on practicing taking a step back, drinking water, taking care of yourself, then you will become better at it. Usually our frustration is not on our kids when it comes out, when we are hitting our kids, when we are shouting at our kids. You think back when you do that, when you hit your child, when you shout at them, you think back, that is all my frustration because of my child, or is it because that I didn't get any time for myself, because I had so much work at home, or I had so much work at office, or I had a fight with my husband. Is it coming out on your child? But is it your child's fault over there? So when you think like this, then you will be able to see some progress. And always make a point that you apologize to your child. See, I also shout at my kids a lot of times. Like with Taha, it happens a lot many times that I shout at him. So I usually try and tell him that, Taha, I'm sorry I shouted at that time. Really, I was not feeling too well. I shouted. I'm sorry. I should not have behaved like that, especially when it comes to sometimes with homework, or sometimes not homework basically, but sometimes we are studying something and he'll just keep on making fun of me or something like that, which is like, we are engraved with that kids should not be making fun of us, they should respect us. So all this is like in our background of our mind always. So sometimes kids are just doing it for fun, just to see our reaction, and when we give that reaction, then sometimes we are hurtful also. I am also hurtful at times. I shout at him really bad, and then when I understand कि ठीक है यार, it's okay, he was not doing it just to tease me, he was just doing it for fun, I take a step back and I tell him that, Taha, I'm really really sorry that I did that. Sometimes he, last week or I think 10 days back, he responded, आप हमेशा करते हो और चिल्लाते हो और फिर आप बोलते हो sorry. So I was like, but I'm trying, bacha, I'm really trying over here, like not to shout at you, I'm really trying, I know it is not your fault, but I am trying. So when we are trying and we are conveying that to our children are also learning that when they make mistakes, they can say sorry and they can again try. So this is what I want to teach them, that like they will make mistakes with things, they will also shout, they will also do such things in relationships in the future, but they should know that when to stop and how to apologize properly. No afternoon naps for you or your kids? No, we don't usually have any afternoon naps. ये बच्चे कितने नाजुक बनेंगे ऐसे में? आई डोंट थिंक सो कि ऐसे बच्चे नाजुक बनते हैं, क्योंकि मारने से तो कोई भी स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं बनता है. अगर हम उन्हें मार मार के कोई चीज़ सिखा रहे हैं तो सिर्फ हम उनके डरा कर सिखा रहे हैं, हम उन तक वो मैसेज लेके ही नहीं जा रहे हैं. मेरा बच्चा ये सोचे, मतलब मैंने अगर उसे किसी चीज़ के लिए मारा है तो वो उस टाइम पे ये सोचना चाहिए कि मैंने ये गलती क्यों करी, ना कि ये सोचे कि मेरी मम्मा कितनी ख़राब है जिनको हर चीज़ में मेरी गलती दिखती है. तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि हम बच्चों को नाजुक बना रहे हैं जेंटल पेरेंटिंग से. मैं चाहती हूँ कि जब कभी मेरे बच्चे किसी प्रॉब्लम में हो, छोटी बड़ी, तो वो मुझ तक आएँ और वो नाजुक नहीं बन रहे हैं, वो रेजिलियंट बन रहे हैं, क्योंकि उन्हें पता है कि बाहर लोग कितना भी ख़राब हैं, लेकिन मम्मा और पापा मेरे साइड पर हैं. I'm so glad that so many of you could join at this time. I'm trying to look for more questions which I can answer. So if you have any more questions, you can just type in. I'm just trying to go down to look. Hi Jyotika, how are you? How to manage work, 8 months old baby, chores and activities. So Akila, I would tell you that usually we are given a statement कि when the baby is sleeping, you finish your work. I would suggest that when your baby is awake, you try to finish your work in that time. Like you involve your baby. Like you have a 8-month-old. I know you are thinking कि how do I involve that child? Apart from cooking, whatever activities you are doing, your child can be around you in that time. Like if you're folding clothes, let your child play around you when you're folding clothes. When you're making your bed, let your child be around you. You take some rest when your child is sleeping. The thing that they say, you sleep and the baby sleeps, I know it is not possible always, but you take some rest in that time. It should not be always कि we are always on our toes and we are just burning ourselves out for everything, कि हम सारा काम करते रहे, बच्चे जब उठेंगे तब हम उनके साथ खेलेंगे. At that time you'll feel so tired that anyways you'll not be able to play. Also time your activities. That really helps with me. Like I get distracted very quickly. So whenever I'm picking up clothes, suppose I'm folding laundry, so what I do is I set a timer for 10 minutes or 12 minutes and I try to beat the timer, like मैं उससे फटाफट कर लूँ. Otherwise what happens is even for 2 hours now my laundry will be like this. I'll be scrolling reels, I'll be talking to people, and I will not be able to do it effectively. But this thing that when I set a timer and I try to beat the timer, I do things more quickly. Also you can plan, like you, if you are living in a single family or something like that, you can pre-plan your meals. You can plan like for a week ki what I will make. So in the back of the head, you're not always thinking that dinner mein kya hai, snack mein kya hai. All these things are already planned for you. If my child doesn't listen when he's about to get hurt, that is when I can't control and I hit so that he listens. So anyways your child was getting hurt, and then like your child is like suppose climbing somewhere and he's not listening to you, you are sure that he'll get hurt, and then because he's not listening you hit him. So how is that sending a message to the child that anyways like something dangerous that they are going to do, we need to tell them to be careful. I understand, but when you are stopping them and when you are every time telling them be careful, अरे ढंग से, अरे धीरे धीरे, इतनी जल्दी जल्दी नहीं, you know, when you're again and again doing it, then that is sending a signal to your child that you are not trusting your body. I'm not trusting my body. I'm not trusting my body. So instead what you can say when your child is doing something which is like climbing on the bars of the window suppose, and you don't want them to do that, when your child is climbing the window suppose and you are not able to control that, so instead of telling him be careful or hitting them for not listening to you, what you can tell your child, you can ask your child is ki beta, is your body telling you that you're safe? Is your body telling you that you're safe? Are you comfortable? Are you sure? Do you need my help? When you are saying such statements, that is easy for your child to retract. Okay, I can take my mama's help, she's here with me. You know, when we are just scaring them for everything now, it is not helping them. It is not helping them learn. They will want to do it more लेकिन छुप कर करेंगे फिर. They will not do it in front of you, but they will do it. They will want to experiment for everything. So the previous question that you asked that बच्चे नाजुक बन जाएंगे, मैक्सिमम क्या होगा? मैक्सिमम ये होगा कि वो हमसे हम चीज़ें शेयर नहीं करेंगे. That is the worst thing that will happen to us, कि वो हमसे चीज़ें शेयर नहीं करेंगे. Like most of us we don't share our issues, most of us we don't share our feelings even with our parents, क्योंकि हमें नहीं पता है कि वो कैसे react करेंगे बहुत सारी चीज़ों के लिए. और हमें एक वो डर रहता है. आई मोस्ट ऑफ यू विल रिमेंबर कि कभी स्कूल में कम मार्क्स आते थे, वी डिडंट वांट टू गो टू आवर पेरेंट्स. आई हैव सीन वन ऑफ माई फ्रेंड्स टेलिंग मी कि किसी को मत बताना, कि मम्मा को नहीं पता चलना चाहिए, भले ही किसी को भी पता चल जाए कि इतने मार्क्स आए वरना बहुत डांट पड़ेगी. So, you know, you are not scared of the world, but you are scared of your own parents when you are not getting good marks or when you are doing a mistake. So, I think that is the biggest failure of parenting. I feel that. क्योंकि I don't want that for my kids कि मेरे बच्चे को कम मार्क्स आए तो वो घर आके ये सोचे कि मम्मा मुझे बहुत डांटेगी इसलिए मैं नहीं बताता हूँ. How do you balance time? I have to give a lot of time to my younger one, and in bargain my elder one suffers. When he comes to me, I'm irritated because I am drained. I'm really sorry that this is happening with you. It is difficult, I understand, but try to have activities which your elder one can be involved with for your little one. Like if you are suppose prepping some activity for your little one, or if your little one, I'm not sure how old is he, like suppose if he's on diapers or if he is feeding, then you make sure that your little elder one is with you. So your when second baby comes, it is very very difficult for elder kids, because it is a complete shift in their life after a new baby is home. And we bought the second baby not for them, honestly, it was our wish, or we wanted that baby. So I think you need to give your little elder one a little more time, and if you can allocate somebody else that they can take your little one for some time, then it will become easier for you. How to start writing skills with my 4-year-old boy? Can you suggest any books or ideas? I would suggest that you do a lot of pre-writing skills, like the fine motor skills that we practice. You only practice that. Don't focus towards books or all those tracing books. Don't focus towards that for now. You focus on only on fine motor skills, all those activities which involve the fine motors, the fingers, like picking up grains, picking up rajma and chana alag alag karna. You can play with pasta, you can give him beading activities, you can give him fine motor activities with play-doh, with rice. You focus more on these instead of the pencil, so that will really help strengthen his grip. Once his grip is good, he will start writing on his own, you will see that. Thank you, Fatima. I'm really, really glad that you could join the live and send such a beautiful comment. Trying to read in more questions. Somebody has asked me how to answer LGBTQ questions. You can read my yesterday's post. You can refer to those books. They talk about all these topics, being gender inclusive and talking how others are different from us, and like it talks about physical disability, mental disability, all these things. Also, you can refer to those books that I have mentioned in yesterday's reel. My baby's 1.5. Every time he needs something new to play with, any suggestions on how to help him with new activities each time? So, what can really help you here is toy rotation. You keep 4 to 5 toys for him for a week or 15 days, and then rotate and bring in the second set of toys. So you can keep 3 4 set of toys in this similar manner, and you keep on rotating, so you don't have to buy a lot of toys. But toy rotation also helps you keep the place neat. Your children are able to focus more on good toys, on better things. I think that has always helped with us, that we always had toy rotation, because I also have a lot of toys and a lot of activities. But if I keep everything out every single day, it will be a task for me to put up everything in the cupboard and arrange everything. So when you take out only for a 15 days time some activities, your kids enjoy that better, and when it goes in, they forget about it. Then again you bring out for 15 days some new or the other toys. So when the rotation keeps happening, they're able to enjoy it better. And invest in good toys, like in wooden toys, and I would suggest that which last longer, instead of those plastic 50 100 rupees toys which only last for 2 3 days. So kids, our toys break and we get a new toy every time. So it's better to invest in expensive toys because they last longer. Okay, I can take two more questions and then I can sign off. मेरी बेबी 2 साल की है, but I cannot read that question. How to handle when a 10-year-old doesn't sit for study? नीरल, आई वुड टेल यू दैट आप कब तक उसके पीछे भागोगे ना, मतलब टिल वॉट टाइम यू विल कीप ऑन टेलिंग हिम टू स्टडी. लेट नेचुरल कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज टेक प्लेस. You let him know that beta, if you're not studying, all your other friends will go to the next class, and let the teachers handle in school. Like when they're giving him homework and he's not able to complete that homework, instead of ruining your relationship with him, you show him natural consequences that will happen. So first of all, set a routine for him where every day you sit with him for at least half an hour, 45 minutes, and he knows that you are there. At 10, he doesn't need you to help him in his homework. He can do it on his own, but he needs undivided attention where you are just present with him in that moment. Hi, my son is 3.5 years old. He gets easily bored in single activity. Like in 5 to 10 minutes, he says, "Mama, I am done." How can I raise his interest? For 3.5-year-old, 5 to 10 minutes for one activity, I think is more than enough, unless it is a open-ended toy where they are playing. But I think that is more than enough. 5 to 10 minutes is a very, very long time for one activity. We need to just keep a check on our expectations when we are talking about our kids. We feel कि एक बार में बैठ के they will do a lot of activities. It is not possible for them to sit for this long. You have a little bit of activities for him ready, like chota chota activities, and keep one gross motor skill or fun activity like jumping in between or doing some kind of climbing or going around the house for a round. So all these really helps them. When they have movement, it's easier for them to sit longer. How do you keep your kids away from phone? So my kids, they don't have any time on the phone because phones are out of bounds for them. They do take my mother-in-law and father-in-law's phone when we are not around, but that is something I am working towards, but that happens still. And they are not allowed to take my phone, and my phone has no apps on it that they can use. They do take my husband's phone, but some very less, like when we're out or somewhere. When Taha is around, he knows now that he can get the phone. So sometimes when my husband wants to give, I usually prep him beforehand ki we will not give, but he doesn't listen to me. So uh, uh, they don't usually take phones. If they want to watch anything, they can watch on the television. We have only one television at home in our living room, so they can only watch on that. Apart from that, they do not have any screen time. So we have a rule that we will watch screen only on weekends, and we follow through that rule. It was really difficult to make that rule, but they don't get too much time, and I feel that taking away screen time is more chaotic for us. Like every time I have to ask him, can you shut the screen, can you come to study, can you do this activity, can you shut the screen, and then it used to lead more tantrums. So right now we don't have any screen time, and that is working better for us. My baby boy has a crush on someone from his class. He's 11. He has decided to tell her, but he's scared. What if she doesn't react properly, even if it's a no? What if she complains to teachers? I would suggest that you be with him. Like, I'm so glad that he's able to share this with you. I'm so glad that he's able to share this with you, and you just be there for him. Even if, see, other people will, it is still a taboo in our over here that we don't talk about such topics to our kids, but you be there for him. If she complains to the teacher, I don't think that is going to happen, because not many kids will go to the teacher to talk about such things. But you tell your child that he has to be more respectful towards that person's choice also. Like, that person also has their own body boundaries, they have their choices. So you have to be respectful to that person. And it is really, I don't know, a coincidence or something. I was watching Modern Family yesterday. Their second, I think their first episode is about this. You watch the first episode of Modern Family and you will see this happens with an 11-year-old in that. Please suggest about siblings fight. So siblings will fight. You cannot control that. It is a part of their development that they will fight, they will have discussions, they will uh, disagree, then they will agree for something, they will negotiate. All these are part of their growing up, and that is the best part about siblings, because they are going to get to practice this every single day, to negotiate, to disagree with others' opinion, to give their own opinion. They will fight. What you have to do as a parent is you have to be like a sportscaster. When your kids come to you, or when you see that they are hitting each other, only then you should be interfering. Otherwise, you should be taking a back seat and just observing what is happening. When you interfere a lot, and when you take one child's side a lot, the other child thinks that I am not important enough and I am not getting enough attention. So whatever gets them that enough attention, suppose like your elder one hitting your little one, if that gets him more attention, he will do that more. So instead of interfering every time in their fights, let them have those fights, let them come to a conclusion, and teach them how to be respectful when they are doing it. When they are using bad words or something like that, you can say, you can put your point better, but you have to be respectful towards your brother. You have to use proper words. You cannot use these words, bacha. You tell him whatever you are feeling. I understand. When you are in their side, but you're teaching them respectful boundaries, is what will help them. And siblings fighting, hitting, all this is very common, and it happens with everyone. Okay, so I can see a lot of questions, but I'm feeling a little exhausted. I would want to lie down a bit before Zen comes back. So I will be saving this live, and I hope I'll be able to do this more frequently with you guys. I hope this was useful to you in some ways. So let's connect more on Instagram. Bye.